nice. Let's get lost in love. Let's go. Ma, it's no problem to hold you, tongue stroke you, please you like I'm supposed to. Touch spots that ain't ever been touched, and I won't stop till both these squirrels get they nuts. Hey, you know it's good when we freakin', king size squeaking after I ease in. If you was with me, baby, 24/7, best believe that every single day would be a sweet day. Girl, you sweeter than a cheesecake. If you want beef, prophecy would be a beefcake. I make love to you till you fall asleep, leave you with sweet dreams between the sheets.
Was the night before that night. I was born on that day, but not last night. Once upon a time, I had my cash right. Plug called, he ain't act right. I'm far from a slow nigga in this fast life. Pulled up, I got low, hit the black light. Once upon a time, slimy niggas catch a bad night. When bad police die, they don't deserve bagpipes. Once upon a time, they need to fill with God rats like old soul. So folks feel me like a past light, a head buster. I'm shining bright as a mag light. Once upon a time, when will the government act right? Opinionated imbeciles just...
What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Doug coming live and at you another TruPlayaz podcast episode on today, the 22nd, first. A lot of things to talk about to unpack this week. The Jets came off their bye. Kyrie returns. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things to talk about today on the podcast. So that's want to touch base with you guys on a few things. First and foremost, you know, I want to say what I've seen this past week from both New York teams. I saw a lot of red flags on both New York teams. And I'm going to start with the New York Giants, first of all, because if they don't find a receiver, or they don't, if a receiver does not rise up and step up to take on that challenge of being the number one receiver, opposite side of Slayton, this team may not make the playoffs. You know, teams are stacking up the box against Saquon Barkley. They're being putting 9-man in the front, 9-man in the box, and try to make it happen and try to get at to stop Saquon from going off and taking over the game with the running game. When Saquon runs the football, it gives Daniel Jones lanes to run, gives Daniel Jones lanes to throw the football, and if it gives opportunities for the receivers to be open with the play action pass. That's not happening right now because they're stopping Saquon. Second game in a row they slowed him down. They lost to the Lions 31-18, a game that they should have won. They should have beaten the Lions. But keep in mind one thing, Lions is coming in there with a 2-game winning streak. They're hot right now. They finally find their groove under their head coach, Dan Campbell. So you can't take credit away from them because they did what they had to do. Took advantage of an opportunity, came up with a great game plan, and beat the Giants. Okay? Daniel Jones was 27-44 for 341 yards with a TD and 2 interceptions, and 7 carries for 50 yards. Saquon Barkley had 15 carries, 22 yards. And where can we go from here? Because they're about to play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, which is, on Thanksgiving. It's on national TV. Is this team ready to take to avenge the loss they had against the Cowboys earlier this season at MetLife? Are they ready for that? Kenny Galladay needs to stop talking his shit and start to step up. Stop being disappearing actor. Stop stealing money from the Giants. You know what I'm saying? That's a Gettleman signing that's not working out. Stop stealing the Giants' money and produce like you were producing in Detroit. Give Daniel Jones an opportunity to be good or to be great. That's just my opinion. Now, my question to you Giants fans is, does the Giants re-sign Odell Beckham Jr.? Do they even have an opportunity or a chance to re-sign Odell Beckham Jr.? I think they do have a great chance. He'll be a welcome addition coming off his torn ACL late last year. Actually injured his ACL in the Super Bowl. So it'll be a welcome addition. It may take him a few games if the Giants do sign him to get acclimated with the offense. But I'm such a believer in Brian Daboll. He'll find a way to utilize Odell Beckham the best way possible if the Giants are able to sign him. That's a big if. And if the Giants are able to re-sign Odell Beckham, the Giants will be in the playoffs this season. They got a lot. This signing Odell Beckham, think about what it could do for Saquon Barkley. It opens up the lanes for Saquon Barkley again. There will be no 8-man and 9-man fronts, no more. You know. So on that note, with the New York Giants, we'll see what happens comes Thanksgiving, how they play during Thanksgiving. I'm actually looking forward to watch that game myself. So I'm kind of excited to see what that game looks like. But we're going to segue a little bit into basketball, okay? Before we get back to the Jets. I don't want. I'll save it for a little later because I got a lot to say about the New York Jets and Mr. Wilson. And for those Jet fans who was on his dick saying he's the future, he's the franchise. Oh, we won 4 games. He was 4-0 at starting quarterback. Give him a chance. I'll get to you guys. I'll get you guys soon. I'm coming for y'all. Now let's get to the New York Knicks. Ended up finishing off their 5-game West Coast swing by beating the Thunder last night, a revenge game in which they won 129 and 119. Jalen Brunson dropped 34 points, and R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle both dropped 25 apiece. A very, very good win to end off the trip. Did they have an opportunity to they started off the trip with come from behind wins against the Jazz and the Nuggets. Got blown out by the Warriors, and they got blown out against the what other team they played, and they got blown out against the Warriors and the Suns. The Suns game, they were close at halftime, and again they come out flat in the third quarter, and then the Suns run them out the building. You know, that's something that Tom Thibodeau has to figure out first of all. And we Cam Reddish was injured. We lost him against Golden State with a groin injury. He's day to day. Quentin Grimes comes in, starts. I think he got his legs underneath him. And the odd man out is my main man, Evan Fournier. Listen, guys, how many podcasts have I spoken to you guys about how he needs to be traded? He doesn't fit the progression of this team. He needs to go. Not that he's a bad player, he just doesn't fit. Fit what Knicks is trying to do. That's the reason why he has to be traded. I just hope that his value doesn't. I hope they don't bring his value down. Brings value down too much, so they can trade him for at least for some draft picks or another player that could probably fit in the hole somewhere else. You know. So this is the situation with the Knicks. It is what it is. They're 99. They're 500 team. Okay. Could they have been better? Yes. But for now, 99 is what it is. They're a 500 team. The only one thing I don't like that I'm seeing a trend is Randall's attitude when other players are going off and dominating the ball. And when he finally gets the ball, he wants to ball hog. If Randall just focuses on rebounding and being inside the post, he would probably score more points than he is right now per game. Just on putbacks and easy baskets. There's no reason for him to bring the ball up court. That's what Jalen Brunson was signed for and to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what he signed for. So let Jalen Brunson do that work. You just go in the post, conserve your energy for some play defense, grab defensive rebounds, start the break, get offensive rebounds, get easy buckets, just like all the other big men are doing on that team. And finally, Thibodeau is not being stubborn. He's utilizing Randall and Obi Toppin at the same time. So I'm anxious to see what that. I want to see more of that lineup because that lineup could be a very good lineup, especially when you got Quentin Grimes in on the floor with that group with RJ and Jalen Brunson. That's a very good defensive team that I see over there. You do need the shot blocking of Hardenstein and Mitchell Robinson. So it's up to Tom Thibodeau to utilize that properly. So we'll see what it is. They're gonna come back home and play against the Blazers next game. So we'll see what's going on with that, guys. As far as the Brooklyn Nets goes, the return of Kyrie Irving. under the strange and stupid requirements of him returning to the team. He was only supposed to be out for 5 games. He came back after 8 games after he gave a formal apology for posting that link on. Um, my opinion was there was nothing for him to apologize for because he didn't create the documentary. He just was showing it to people. But by the same token, he should have put a caption on that link. And that's what got him in trouble. He should have put a caption on that link saying that he doesn't fully believe in the story, in the book or the movie, just to cover himself. You gotta just cover your ass because people, like I said on previous podcasts, different people from different ethnic groups will receive what you're trying to portray in a negative light if they are sensitive to it or they're not in agreement with it. Thus, you have the anti whatever you want to anti this, anti that. That's what that creates from. And the problem is, we as people need to come together and have open dialogue about our likes and dislikes, and so we can move forward. And that's what's lacking in the world today: the lack of ability to, you know, come together and openly have disagreements, but be able to shake hands and move on. I'm not gonna speculate why he decided to apologize after so many days. And part of it is he wanted to play basketball again. He wanted to play basketball again. He wanted to be around his teammates. Maybe Kevin Durant gave him a nudge like, "Listen, I need you, bro." He probably did that to do for the team. Was it bug breaking? In my opinion, yes. But the other people may say that's not the case. But that's just my opinion. Okay. Well, any opinions I express in the podcast is just my opinion only. But by the same token, I didn't watch the documentary. I didn't even read the book, so I don't know what's in that. I don't know what's in that movie or the book to even make a judgment or to give a statement about if the movie was anti-Semitic or not. I didn't watch it, so will I read the book or watch the movie? I don't know. I'm gonna tell you guys, I don't know. Is that is it high on my priority? No. So because I'm not gonna dignify anything. Anybody wants, and I'm not gonna dignify how people want me to portray things. So I portray things my way, and that's the way I'm gonna portray them. Either you accept them and not call me names and stuff like that, or keep it moving. We have a dialogue, we have a conversation like grown adults, and discuss my viewpoint. You discuss your viewpoint, and we shake hands and move on. That's it. So on that note, I'm gonna leave that alone. So I'm gonna get into now. We're gonna get into the Jets now, guys. We're going to get into the motherfucking New York Jets and how disappointing it is to be a Jet fan after this past Sunday's loss to the Patriots, in which the motherfucking Jet defense stood on its head, only to lose the game by a punt return with 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter, with first place in the division on the line. Oh yes, I'm gonna get into this motherfucking shit. You gonna hear me? You hear me cursing now? This is a tale of two quarterbacks who was dealing with the same type of windy weather. Okay. The Jets, I'm gonna tell you straight out, I'm a Jets fan. The Jets didn't deserve to win that game anyway, but they still had the opportunity to win the game. Let me tell you why. Their former kicker, Nick Folk, missed 2 field goals, and it was still 3-3 with 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter. 3-3. Okay? 3-3. The Patriots was in the Jets side of the field for most of the fucking game. And when they were not at the Jet side of the field, they were able to move that ball through the wind. and the defense stood on its head, made some big fourth down stops, was sacking a Mac Jones to the tune of, I believe they got 6 or 7 sacks. But give it to Mac Jones, he was able to move his team down the field. Despite being sacked, despite the wins. Meanwhile, our quarterback, Zach Wilson, oh, by the way, does not take any responsibility for the Jet loss. When they asked him, did he feel that he let the defense down? He said no. When you're the quarterback who generated 2 yards of offense in the second half, you got a lot of explaining to do. But not just you. Your stupid-ass offense coordinator, LaFleur, needs some explaining to do. You know? I have to. I'm with Robert Saleh on this one. It was dog shit out there. The team, like defense, it was a very well defensive play game by both teams. Very well played. A special teams blunder wasn't really a blunder because if you look at the replay, there was a block in the back. But it wouldn't have mattered if they went into overtime. The Jets' offense couldn't move the football. The fucking offense coordinator is not innovative enough to create plays to get the team to move to a windy day. The quarterback can't throw the ball in the wind. You know what I'm saying? And is this draft pick a product of the combine? That's what you got to ask yourself as a Jet fan. Especially when you had Mac Jones, who played against you in the same draft, had no problems moving that ball through that wind. You got Justin Fields with Chicago. This kid has more weapons than Sam Darnold ever had. Yes, I'm going to mention Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, I said it on many different podcasts, he was sabotaged by Joe Douglas. He sure hell was. And so you could draft this kid from BYU. He ain't Steve Young, okay? He's not Steve Young. This kid acts entitled. You know what I'm saying? You know what you got with this kid. He feels entitled. Okay? I mentioned to you guys, how many times I mentioned on a previous podcast, I mentioned to people on posts on Facebook, I said, being a number 2 pick in New York is a different animal than being a number 1 or number 2 pick in Cincinnati. It's different when you're different in San Diego. New York is the melting pot. It's the fire in the kitchen. When you're drafted that high with the New York Jets, you know, and everyone wants to be a copycat. Everyone wants to be a copycat league. If he's drafted number 2, he should start right away. Does not work for every single quarterback in every NFL city. Okay? The Jets, Joe Douglas failed on this front, is that you already had Sam Darnold on the bench, on the team. You traded him to Carolina. Why don't you let the two of them battle last year for the right to be the starting quarterback and let Sam Darnold take the lumps for the kid, so the kid steps into this season, seeing what's going on from the bench, and then let him ride. This is New York City. This is not Cincinnati. It's not San Diego. It's not Carolina. This is New York City. This is New York. Melting pot of the media. Every wrong move this young quarterback makes, the media is going to swallow him up and spit him out. And now he's getting it to him. He's getting to him. Now, he may act nonchalant. He may act a little bit entitled, but this is the situation right now, Jets fans. All you Zach Wilson fans, I'm going to call you guys out because y'all idiots. Oh, give him a chance. He's 4-1 with the team, but he can't beat the Patriots. The first game against the Patriots, he gave them the game. The second one, he couldn't even move his team down the field. 2 yards in the second half to the point that his receivers are getting frustrated with him. Garrett Wilson was frustrated, showing him up on the field. Denzel Mims was showing him up on the field, even though Denzel Mims did drop a ball that was in his hands. Let's be fair. However, Denzel Mims made a big catch for 34 yards on a ball that was underthrown to put the Jets in position to get those 3 points in the first half. This quarterback has the nerve to say that he doesn't feel that he let the defense down. So what did you do? Who did you let down? Did you let yourself down? Did you feel you let anybody down? Let's ask that fair question. Because it is a fair question. Six sacks on Mac Jones. The defense stood on its head. It's probably the greatest defensive performance I've seen from a Jet team of this past Sunday. That's probably one of the greatest performance I've physically seen. I was a young boy when the New York Sack Exchange was going wild, running wild. I did see some great Rex Ryan defenses based on blitzing. I did see some great second halves when Herm Edwards was coach of the Jets. But none of them played the way this defense played this past Sunday. None of them, not on that level, not on that fucking level. And we had cornerbacks. We had Darrell Revis and Antonio Cromartie as cornerbacks, and they never had a defense that played on that level the way they played this past Sunday. No, not even on that level. The Jets were 6-3 going into that game with an opportunity to be first place. Now they're out. They're the outside looking in on the playoffs because they lost to the Bengals earlier this year. The Bengals have a tiebreaker over the New York Jets. The Patriots have a tiebreaker over the New York Jets. I'm not saying the season's over, but if the Jets don't make the playoffs, you're going to look at this game. You're going to look at this football game this past Sunday about why they didn't make the playoffs. And me as a Jet fan, I'm not feeling this shit. I'm not happy with Zach Wilson, and I'm of the believer it's time to make a call to the bullpen. Bring in Mike White. Hell, I'm to the point that listen, make that kid Chris Strevler the number 2 quarterback next week, and make Zach Wilson inactive. He needs some humbling. I tell you that straight out right now. He needs some humbling. That doesn't mean you can't go back to him. But this team, that defense right now, is ready to win right now. You can't hold up the defense to develop a quarterback who doesn't have the mental capacity to develop as a human being. I give credit to Sam Darnold when he was on this team. Each time the Jets lost, he took responsibility. He said he needs to play better. He took it like a man. He said he needs to play better, even though there was games that he didn't lose. You feel me? This kid, like I said, acts entitled. And now, in my opinion, he deserves to be benched. I think Robert Saleh is definitely considering it now because he realized the season's on the brink. Season's on the brink. You got 7 games to go. 8 games to go. I think it's a 19-week season. And for you to come off the bye week after a big win against the Buffalo 2 weeks ago, the Super Bowl favorite for the AFC, the way you beat them. Come on, man. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't ruin that for the defense. I feel bad for the special teams. They should have never been put in that situation. Punting from their own freaking 5-yard line. Now, even if they didn't score that touchdown, they would have had great field position. They probably had the ball at the 40-yard line, which they only need 10 yards to be in field goal range. Seriously. 5 seconds. 5 seconds left. Anything. Well, I mentioned 5 seconds. Anything could happen. It did happen. Punt return for a touchdown. Punted. They probably fair catch it. Was going to go in good field position to get a pass interference penalty. They're in position to get a field goal, possibly within in regulation in 5 seconds. But even if they did go to overtime, even if they did go to overtime, guys, did you guys have any belief that they could get to field goal range where Zach Wilson was playing? It probably would have ended up. It probably would end up with a Jet loss or a tie. They were not winning that game. There's even rumors of taking away the play calling duties from LaFleur. Who are you going to give it to? This is not Bill Parcells and Charlie Weiss situation. Who are you going to give the play calling duties to? This is a bad offensive coordinator. He needs to be removed. He needs to be moved next season and put place as a quarterback coach and bring in a real offensive coordinator who can make adjustments, no matter who the quarterback is, and learn how to utilize all his receivers on the field. It's an embarrassment. You had three talented receivers playing in the game, and you only had 2 yards of offense in the second half. You had Garrett Wilson, who I think should be the offensive rookie of the year. If he had a better quarterback, he'd been hands down the offensive rookie of the year. And the possible resurgence of Denzel Mims and Elijah Moore. Those are the 3 guys. Fuck Corey Davis. Cut him, save some money, and invest that money into more offensive line help. You got the young talent there ready to win now, and they're hungry to win now. Joe Douglas, you need to do what you have to do. And to think, guys, if next week against they're playing the Bears with Justin Fields, you may dodge that bullet in which Justin Fields may not play. Number 3 pick in the draft. He hurt his shoulder Sunday. The guy that should have been picked by the New York Jets. And I said it before. When you got quarterbacks who play for big schools, they understand the pressures better than a kid from BYU who's entitled. He's so entitled, he slept with his mother's best friend. And it was cool. Little MILF hunter he is. Truth be told, guys. Truth be told. Make no mistake about it. So what are we going to do next? Think about it for a second, guys. In the past 10 drafts, we passed on Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, even Mac Jones, even Trey Lance we passed on for this kid. So to say this kid is the savior. They said it about Sam Darnold, even though Sam Darnold was a little bit different scenario. But this Zach Wilson was not the clear-cut number 2 quarterback in the draft. It was Justin Fields. Then Mac Jones, then Trey Lance. This kid got the number 2 pick based on a combine. Play no defense, no defensive rushers. No wins. No pressures of the crowd. They fell in love with a rollout 70-yard bomb, and under the tent. That's how he became the number 2 pick in the draft. Now I'm not saying it's over for him as a football player, but let me tell you guys something. His football career is on the line. Listen, I understand Aaron Rodgers is old, but if Aaron Rodgers, you don't think Aaron Rodgers would be thinking about that Jet team right now with all those receivers and the running back? Another thing too about LaFleur, why he stopped running the football? You had James Robinson and Carter run the football. So what if they were getting stuffed? Run the football. And James Robinson is a beast, man. He's a beast. That's a good trade by Joe Douglas, I must say. A good trade by him. So, guys, I'm gonna sign off on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoy the podcast. We can listen to the podcast on Anchor, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeart Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts. You can watch the video version of this episode on patreon.com/TruPlayaz podcast. You can watch it on YouTube. So, all right. So it's your man, Big Dom. I'm going to bless you guys with a live episode on Thanksgiving at 10 a.m. with my brother, JoeyG. Can't wait to see you guys live. Stay tuned to that episode. All right. So you guys have a good one. It's your man, Big Dom, signing off. Peace.